What's up, guys? I've got some requests to talk about box trucking, and I've gotten a lot more response on my Amazon relay video than anything else, so I'm going to talk about that right now. Specifically because I've watched a few videos. I actually came across this from one of my clients pointing me in the direction of some YouTube channels, different guys talking about running for Amazon relay with box trucks, all that, right? And there's a ton of information out there. And some of it's like misinformation and some of it's misguided, all right? And by that I mean, like, some people are just saying things straight up like, no, that's not right, doesn't apply to anybody. And other people are talking about how they're doing things and it might apply for them, doesn't mean it applies for you. So I'm gonna do probably several different series of these box truck videos just to help people out, all right? I really wanna like help educate so that you go in the right direction and it doesn't cost you a ton of money for the mistakes you make. All right, because there's things you do in the very beginning that affect you down the road, all right? And you don't always like make the wrong decision and boom, you hit a wall. Like, you make a wrong decision here and there's a whole lot of other stuff you do before you hit a wall because of that decision you made, you know, maybe weeks or months or years ago, okay? So specifically right this second, I'm going to talk about an owner of a company, okay? Preferably not a sole proprietor. Go incorporate an LLC or something, all right? Disclosure, I'm not an accountant or an attorney or any of that. I'm just an insurance agent. I also own a trucking company, so I have that experience. And I've helped a ton of new ventures in trucking, all shapes, sizes, different types of operations, all that. Been doing this for a little while now. But for a owner of a business, so preferably like an LLC, go to your Secretary of State website, you know, like whatever state you're in, Secretary of State, file an LLC, then go get your EIN number from the IRS, set up a bank account, do all that, all right? There's a lot of people talk about that stuff. That's pretty easy, clear and dry. You can't mess that up too bad. But do all that before you try to get to insurance and quotes and applying for authority. Dear God, do it before you get to applying for your authority. But there's so much to talk about here. So an owner of a company who's going to rent a box truck and drive it themselves, okay? Not talking about hiring drivers right now, okay? I'll make some other videos about that. If you are planning on hiring drivers, watch this anyways, because you want to go through this process as if you're the driver, and then we can learn about what it's like to hire drivers, okay? That's a whole, ugh. I prefer everyone start on their own, be the owner, maybe have a partner, but maybe not, just depends on your scenario, and be the owner and the driver for like the first year, okay? Maybe, you know, there's some scenarios where it might work out for you to do something sooner, start hiring and expanding, but in a lot of scenarios, if you're starting with a rental box truck, you should probably drive for the first year, okay? And I'm gonna get into why. But that's the chunk of everyone that I get on the phone. They're owning it, they're gonna drive it, or they own the company, they're gonna drive the truck, it's a rental, they wanna do Amazon relay, which is great, but it's not the only thing out there. Make sure you understand that. Like, you don't get in this business to only run for Amazon relay. I'll talk about that more either later in this video or on another video. That's huge. It's the lowest barrier to entry for trucking businesses, though, in my opinion. I'm trying to think. That's accurate. If you want to start a trucking company, this is the best way to do it. Like, this is the easiest way in with the least amount of money you have to put up front, and it will get you in. And if you do it right, you can expand, you can grow, or you can stay the same and become more profitable down the road. Like, and I'll help you out with that here. So you own the business, you're the driver, you're renting a box truck, you're gonna set up with Amazon relay under your own motor carrier authority, all right? There's a lot of different scenarios, guys, and not everyone's the same. Like, there's very few that are the same, all right? And then if you're in one state and the guy you're talking to is in another state, might as well not be talking if you're trying to get like accurate information for your specific scenario. Every state varies. The same insurance company for one state is different in another state. They might have different guidelines, different regulations, all that. So just find a good agent, find good people that are in your state, and use their information, but also understand, like, more importantly than anything, understand, like, this is about you and your specific setup, okay? A lot of this will cross over for other people, not all of it. I just want to set the right expectations here. So, first off, when it comes to insurance, and this is where I'm coming to you guys with, like, all of this is from the angle of insurance and why it's so freaking important, okay? So when you're renting a box truck and you have motor carrier authority and your insurance policy, when you have motor carrier authority, requires that every vehicle be listed on the policy. This is the most important thing. A lot of people get into trouble or have issues with this, and I want to clarify that. So when you're renting a box truck, this is perfectly okay. There's one big company that will do this in about every single state. There's like almost none other than this that makes sense. There's almost no insurance companies that make sense to be renting a box truck with motor carrier authority, okay? And I'm gonna break this down. When you have motor carrier authority, okay, you have insurance that's attached to that. You can't have motor carrier authority without the proper insurance, okay? And when you're renting a box truck, the box truck has to be listed on the insurance policy, okay? Every box truck you're gonna drive, not just the first one you pick up when you start the authority. So the way insurance works is when it's listed on the policy, if you go trade that box truck in for another one or drop it off on Friday and pick up another one on Monday, that one you picked up on Monday, if it's not the same truck, has to be listed on your insurance policy. And you also want to get the other truck off. And I'll go ahead and say this. The physical damage value, like comp and collision, the value of that truck, one can be different than the other, right? So like you go pick up a 2020 Freightliner M2, and then next week you're picking up an International 4300. The Freightliner might have been a $60,000 truck and the International might be a $90,000 truck. Well, there's some ways to save some money. You can adjust the value on your insurance policy between each truck. Like you're already having to go in and make changes, all right? So if it can save you money, like say you keep that International worth 90 grand, well, yeah, like if one truck's cheaper than the other, like it really makes sense to lower it. I would keep it up to date. That way everything's, you know, kosher, neat and clean. But yeah, so every truck has to be listed on your insurance. Let's say in your state there are 10 companies that will offer insurance for motor carriers, okay? Like there might be more or less, but let's just say there's 10, okay? So 10 companies, right? I'm gonna start with 10. All right, how many of these will write a new venture motor carrier? Well, maybe like 3, okay? Or maybe 2, okay? Now, how many will write new ventures, motor carriers in your state for box trucks? There's a good chance it's like 1 or 2, all right? So you only have a couple options. And of those options, there's only one in just about every state. You might have 2 that make sense, but one that I know is in every state, okay? That's Progressive, okay? The reason why I say Progressive makes sense, and yes, some people might be like, oh, it's expensive or oh, whatever. Progressive has the ability for agents or their direct employees that work under Progressive, like say you're gonna get a policy straight from them and call the 800 number every time you need to work with them. Progressive has the ability to make changes very easily. Like it's literally, we log into the Progressive system, we make the change, it's final, okay? Just about everybody else that's gonna write insurance for you is a multi-step process. So there's you, your agent, an underwriter at another company who represents an insurance company that's another company, okay? So when you need to update your truck, you go tell your insurance agent. Your insurance agent gets some paperwork together and gives it to the underwriter. The underwriter goes in and can either log in directly or has to go to another underwriter that actually works at the insurance company that insures your motor carrier, your company, okay? So then there could be back and forth. Hopefully you got all the paperwork right. Hopefully the VIN number's correct and the values and all that, okay? And then let's say you have, let's say you have like auto liability, cargo, and physical damage with 3 different insurance companies. That could be 3 different forms, 3 different companies, 3 different underwriters. Hopefully it's all one agent that you work with, but that's a whole lot of back and forth every single time you need to swap out a truck. That does not make sense. It'll be a nightmare. You'll never have a clue what your bill is gonna be. It'll probably be jacked up, and you're gonna go out of business, okay? I've seen it, I hate it. I write business in North, South Carolina, Georgia. Might be expanding beyond that here soon. But Progressive is the only one that makes sense, okay? And some states, like North Carolina, if you don't own it, like you pay cash, you finance it, or you lease it for more than 6 months, the other insurance companies, the other ones that would potentially write you as a new venture, they won't write you because you don't own it, all right? Or it's not registered to you. Like, there's a lot of things that will disqualify you from even having an option to go with someone other than Progressive. All right, and then simply just having to swap trucks out every so often, that's a nightmare. That's a nightmare if you're not going with Progressive, okay? So, earlier I said either you own the company or maybe you have a partner. Well, Progressive might be expensive because maybe they rate heavily on your credit score. Okay, so either fix your credit score or get a partner and actually do it right. So like when you register your business, put a partner on there, okay? And someone that you trust, you know, spouse, whatever, like an actual business partner that you could run your quote with Progressive using their information, okay? Not a bad thing, not a bad idea, all right? But definitely somebody you trust, somebody that's has an interest in the company, all that type of thing. But yeah, Progressive's like about the only one that makes sense. And there might be a couple differences throughout the whole US. There might be a couple other companies, but there's not many options, all right? And another little side note here, when it comes to billing, and you're doing these changes, maybe weekly, bi-weekly, just a couple times a month or every other month, whatever, Progressive does direct billing. So when you make a change, the change appears on your next bill, all right? Everybody else that's through that whole crazy slew of agent, underwriter, company, when you make changes with those, if you're financed, there's a third-party company that's doing the financing, all right? So when you make the change, there's more paperwork, there's even more paperwork that comes back, invoices, all this stuff, that then has to go to the finance company, all right? If you're behind on your bill with the finance company, you can't make any changes. Or you might be able to, but then like you get an endorsement that's gonna cost a little bit more, they won't finance it, then you have to pay cash for it or get it caught up and then get it financed. But depending on your, you know, how far behind you are or when you make the next payment, like, I'm telling you guys, don't do that. Just don't do it, all right? I came up with a couple questions though. If you do talk to an agent or an insurance company other than Progressive, here's how you make it really simple, all right? And know if they're like a viable option, all right? Can I use a rental box truck to start my trucking company as a motor carrier and run Amazon Relay, all right? They'll probably understand what you're talking about. They might say, yes, you can. That doesn't cut out everything here. So next question. Do I need to tell you each time I turn in a truck and each time I get a new truck? And like each time if the value changes? When you ask that question, they're gonna be like, how many times did you change it? Oh my God, like every week, every other week? Wow, that's gonna be a lot of paperwork. That's also gonna be a lot of back and forth and a lot of room for error, okay? Ah, man. All right, so yeah, but those are the questions to ask. Like you can certainly go with some other options out there, but you're gonna run into some issues that don't, you know, like when you make the change, the issue doesn't happen right then. It's down the road when you're, you know, trying to do something else, and then you're stuck. And it really, like, and so like, let's say you get into an issue with billing. Well, it's different when you have a motor carrier, all right? Because the insurance ties into your motor carrier authority, all right? If you don't pay for your insurance, the insurance company's gonna send a cancellation notice to the FMCSA. The FMCSA is going to put you pending for cancellation. There'll be a date, all right? Whatever type of scenario is going on with your billing, you got to get that caught up. Also, once you have that pending cancellation notice on your FMCSA, that's permanent. Like, we will know that you probably didn't pay your bill or something happened, all right? And every time that happens, and that will hurt you down the road. So you have to pay on time, and you need to be very well informed of the decisions you'll make today, because they're going to affect you down the road. Because when you have a motor carrier authority, everything's pretty much public record. Like, every time you pick your nose, it's in your safety records or something. Like, it's ridiculous. There's so much out there, and underwriters will use that to rate your premiums for your insurance down the road. All right, I'm gonna go into more about like the actual setup and some like prep work before you like apply for your motor carrier authority, all that in some other videos, so check those out. I've got a bunch of links down below. You're gonna need freight factoring, you're gonna want access to load boards other than Amazon. One thing I'll say real quick, I tell this to all my guys that I help set up, like Relay, Amazon Relay is awesome, but there'll be times where the rates aren't great. You get in, you go from A to B, maybe you want to come back hauling something, and the rates suck. All right, you want to have access to other load boards. You want to have other resources. All right, and like you want to go where the freight is going to be in demand. You want to go where the freight is going to be in demand, and there's going to be less trucks. Okay, that's when the rates go through the roof. Okay, when there's lots of demand and no supply of trucks. All right, so you need a good dispatcher, you need multiple resources for load boards, and you need to not solely depend on Amazon Relay. You're not in control if you do it that way. Like, if all you're gonna do is run Amazon Relay, well, oh, I had a bad week, oh, I had a bad month, oh, I'm out of business. Like, you're gonna be a business owner, you need to be in control, all right? So you need to have the tools, you need to have the resources, and you gotta educate the hell out of yourself. Like, seriously. It's a lot. It can be overwhelming, but man, it's cool. It's really cool. I've helped quite a few people grow too. Like, starting with one truck, you know, it's not all about growth though. Some people just want to get out there and be their own boss and do their own thing, and not have someone, you know, take a chunk of what they're producing just because they do administrative work or whatever. I love to see people start their own businesses and get to, you know, take control over their time. But yeah, also if you want to grow, I've got a lot to help out with that as well. Doing it the right way, not where like you try and grow rapidly and crash even faster. That happens a lot. But yeah, check out my links below and subscribe, turn on that notification. Another thing I'll be doing going forward is, like, throughout the week as I'm working with clients, issues I run into with my clients, I'll do little videos about that. So, like, for instance, I follow a couple attorneys, accountants, other like business professionals that, you know, do something that pertains to my businesses, so that I can just kind of stay up to date and learning, right? Like, you want to be a business owner, you're a student for life, okay? Or else you can pay someone too much to do it for you. I mean, like, eventually you get to where you lean on other people, but even if you're leaning on them, like, you can still handle the stuff on your own. That's just my advice. Yeah, check out my other videos, subscribe, like, all that. And my links below are really important. I've got great affiliate partners that, yeah, I get paid on it, but like for freight factoring, your fuel cards, a few other things, check those out. And stay tuned, I'll be back with some more videos here.